Hi guys, Maddie here from The World is Home, and I am talking to you a little bit, which I'm trying to get used to. This is our preparation for the world tour. And when I say world tour, I more mean us traveling throughout the whole year full time. So both of us staying home both of us staying with the kids and traveling. This is going to be very different from what we've done so far, which has always been traveling, and one of us always held a position, a fixed job at a corporation, or in my case, it was my own companies. It's going to be a bit different, and we're doing this because we want to spend more time with our children. That's a priority of our lives, and we have been making this little series now about how we're getting ready for that trip. So we have moved our stuff from France to Belgium, where we've stocked some of it and we sold half of it. It was really not necessary to have all that many things, but I'll talk about that more another day. Today we've been busy, as you know from the last video. We have been busy going paperless, and it's very, very difficult for me. I expressed that as well last time. There's still a lot of stuff everywhere. There's papers everywhere, and there's still a big box downstairs which I will have to liquidate. But today we've also been very busy getting ready for the world schooling. So I have been world schooling the children, well, basically all their lives, because world school is something that you can do without traveling extensively. You can do that from wherever you are, whatever you're doing. However, now we're going to have to what we call homeschool, and this is something we can't do back in Sweden, where I'm from. It's not allowed. It's forbidden. But in Belgium and in France, it's okay. And as my kids are half Belgian, I can do that. So we are actually going to teach Oliver, who has now turned 7, ourselves, and that's a bit of a challenge. And I must admit to you that that's the reason to why we haven't done this trip earlier on, because it's always stressed me out a lot, because I don't think I'm a teacher, so it's been a bit stressful. But it's just the way to prepare it is, the way I explain it to myself and the way I make it, easy on myself, is that I'm thinking, hey, I just continue world schooling, something that I've been doing for a long time. So I wanted in a couple of sentences to explain to you what I mean when I say world schooling. And basically it means that you let the child have his own rhythm of learning, and instead of filling him with a lot of information that you have to fill him with, you enhance his natural curiosity. So when he shows a curiosity for something, whether it's an insect, an animal, tree, a grass, sand, ocean, you just take that opportunity during that day and you enhance that. So you will explain to him a little bit more about what's going on, and you will tell him structure of trees, or you will explain to him some sort of a biology or chemical reaction or anything that comes to hand. So I do a lot of little math and writing and reading exercises with the kids based on whatever, whenever they feel curious about something, I just enhance it a little bit and they think it's fun. I call it 3D learning because for me it's very tangible. They touch things, they smell things, they taste things, and learning becomes really fun. I am a total fan of this way of learning. I think I've been such a person all my life that I've been touching and smelling and doing that, and I think most people are. But then we're taught to sit still and not move and just, be very strict. And probably depends on which country you grow up in. But a learning process does not always have to be something pleasant. In many countries, I think that the learning process is not so much fun for kids. I think many people come out from universities being confused and feeling that they've lost time, or maybe got themselves educated in the wrong direction. So this is something extremely important to me, and I have been trying to focus on my children, and I've promised myself never to push them, and I do not believe that they are empty vessels in need of being filled. I think they come to this world being someone already, and I think that they try to just grasp the world around them. So if you're there as an adult to explain certain processes, it's just enhancing their curiosity and making them happy about learning. So to the practical side of it, because that's what this video is about, if you live in a country where you can homeschool, usually what happens is that you will have some sort of a procedure. And I must tell you that I haven't followed too much, so I'm going to just switch over here to Servet. Darling, could you please repeat, because I forgot what it is that you have to do when you want to world school. or homeschool?
Okay, to homeschool in Belgium, it's pretty easy actually. You just need to inform the government or the organization taking care of the schools that your child is going to be homeschooled for the next year. So we need to do that before the 30th of September. So school starts here the 1st of September, so we have basically 1 month to make that letter and inform this organization that we're going to homeschool our kids. As Oliver is 8.
7,
so,
baby. He just turned 7.
Yeah, 7, excuse me. I just read 8 on the paper, but actually he's on the 2nd grade, so he's going to be 8 at the end of the year. He needs to pass an exam end of the year to make sure that he has the right level and that everything's okay. If he fails to that exam, you have a second chance, and if he still fails at the second chance, you need to put him back to school.
Oh, okay.
So voilà. But I think it's going to be okay because...
Is there any process that you have to follow, or do we have it?
No. They definitely there is a program that you need to follow because the exam is going to be based on the program. So
but not the process.
The program, but the process is completely up to you.
As a parent. Okay,
so,
cool.
So voilà, you just need to prepare for the end of the end exam, which is going to be probably by the end of next scholar year.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, that was my husband's survey and a bit of technicalities that I haven't been into. But just to give you a great tip, I think that world schooling is something that you can start even if you're not even like going on vacation or traveling too much. You know, it can start anywhere in the world, wherever you are. It can be in your park, it can be in your yard, it can be anywhere close to nature where you have the child really running freely, and then you see what is interesting to him. You know, it might be something even physical, but then you can explain a force of physics. You know, you can explain the wind, and children ask so many questions. I once had a nanny that told me that my kids were exceptionally smart, and I've been thinking about it. And as vain as I am as a person, and I'm fighting that, I do not believe that my children are in any way exceptionally smart. I think that all children have a natural curiosity. I think that if a child loses that curiosity, perhaps because he spends a lot of time in front of his TV, because, you know, he takes the phone from his mom. I have friends that give the phone to the kids while they're eating and going out to a restaurant even. You know, it is as it is. Everybody has its own way of educating. But then the child might not express so much interest in the actual world that he lives in. And therefore, I'm not completely 100% against the screen, and I do let my children take the phone. I think, they have a little bit of a game. I had games when I was a kid, so, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, as long as it's within a very short, limit of time, because the rest of the time I want them to notice the world around us, around them. So here's the thing. There are no such things as stupid kids. They're just parents that don't pay attention. And if I have one thing that I want to say with this video is basically the reason to why we're doing all of it is take the time to be a parent. I will probably say it a lot of times because that's what I profoundly believe is a problem of today's society. I think we rush through it. I think that it's very, very complicated, and I think that many people don't actually take it seriously enough to be a parent. So, I'm the girl, I was a career girl, 100% into my career, but, I became a mother. I looked at these kids and I thought to myself, I'm not going to let somebody raise them, I'm just going to raise them myself. And that's a full-time job, which probably requires Oscars. I don't know. I think it does. I think it's an incredibly challenging, huge job, which sometimes drives me crazy and sometimes makes me cry, and most of the time makes me laugh, luckily enough. But I think that if we challenge ourselves to be great parents, and this is why I share these videos, and this is why we do The World is Home as an official saying and not just travel in peace, as we say, I think that if we do that, we will raise children that are going to be maybe slightly more humane, maybe slightly more aware of the planet, aware of the problems, aware of nature. And if we can do that, then obviously we're creating a future which is just a little bit better. So without sounding too, like whatever you call it in English, corny or something, I really do believe that we can change the future by raising our children correctly. And I'll talk to you about this a lot. But in the meanwhile, I just wanted to say that I'm going to share some of these world schooling materials that I have been using and that I'm using. It's just that I am trying to get that into the computer because I do all of that manually. So I need, some time to be able to, work out how to actually, I have some graphical programs. I'm not very good at it. So I'm trying to digitalize all my materials. And once that's done, during the year that we will be traveling, I'll be sharing a lot of that with you if you're interested in, profiting from the stuff that we have already done with our kids, exercises that they've loved and so on. So hopefully that's going to be useful for you. And right, that was it. I bid you farewell, and tomorrow we'll tell you a little bit more about the process. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments below. You might be asking yourselves how things should be done, and we might know it or not, but we'll try to answer. So it's always nice to have comments and so in the comments below. All right, I ramble. Thanks a lot for listening, and talk to